Hello, beautiful humans, and welcome to Growing Through It, a podcast dedicated to bringing you clarity so that you can harness your curiosity and be the creator of your life. Hosted by me, Shanae Rowe. Hello, gorgeous people, and this is episode 11. Thanks for joining me and welcome back to the potty. Today's episode is going to be part one of a two-part series, and it's all to do with self-expression. So in this one, I'm going to be talking about finding safety within ourselves so that we can embrace and share our quirky, wonderful, wholehearted self. Because who doesn't love doing that? Who doesn't love being silly and goofy and playful and just expressing themselves like a kid and really just enjoying this wonderful life? Being a silly little goblin gremlin weirdo. So let's dive into the episode, shall we? All right, so first things first, I want to discuss what is self-expression. And I think in the simplest terms, it's the way that we choose to show up in the world. And I think that there are sort of two ways to do that, and that is unconsciously and consciously. So I think when we show up in the world, and if we're in this unconscious state of not really recognizing ourselves and our patterns and having the awareness to pull ourselves up on behaviors that we don't like, we're sort of in this mindset of our behavior and who we are is, it's just who I am, right? It's just how we are. It's how we've always been. And we really don't have this intention of changing it anytime soon. And I think that mindset, that behaving unconsciously, it comes from learnt behavior, and it's all to do with our limiting beliefs that we've adopted from our family, from our living environment, from growing up, and from society. And we're sort of happy plodding along, just like showing up as ourselves, not really noticing how our behaviors influence other people and influence ourselves, and really not being aware of the impact our words and behaviors have on the greater society and also on the world that we create for ourselves, right? When we're showing up and expressing ourselves unconsciously, we're not really aligned with what we want and who we want to be. And so we're not inviting really wonderful, playful, beautiful things to happen to us. But that's not really what I want to talk about today. What I do want to talk about is, self-expression in a conscious and self-aware point of view, right? It's coming from this place of choosing to understand ourselves, of wanting to be better, of acknowledging our behavior when it's not in alignment with our values and the person that we want to become. And, when we're consciously expressing ourselves, we have visions and ideas and values that align with us of who we want to be, and we're striving towards that version of ourselves, and we're trying to build upon our values and our belief systems, and it's a conscious choice, right? And so, self-expression is all about the choices that we make and how those choices are in alignment with our values. That can be, wanting to travel the world, or it can be going to uni and choosing to focus on having a really solid career, or it could be, the choices that you make of, you're really family orientated and you'd love to have your own family, or you go into a trade, or you choose to focus on creating a life where friendships are your priority and connecting with people is your priority. And I think self-expression is all about understanding what we like and what we don't like, and sharing our thoughts and perspectives on those things in the moment. I think, yes, self-expression is how we portray ourselves in each and every moment. It's our truth in the here and the now. And like as well, don't forget that we as people are always ebbing and flowing and changing. We are ever evolving human beings. And so our truth in the moment is always going to be changing, and our expression of our values and our truths is like we're always going to be building upon it. And I think self-expression is acknowledging that and really understanding that we're changing, and we're ebbing and we're flowing and we're redirecting ourselves, and just to share who we are in every state of being is what we're here to do. Sharing ourselves with other people, sharing our beliefs and our values, and doing it in a really fun and creating and loving way is self-expression. And that is the point of it all and the point of our existence, right? And, self-expression is all about letting our personality and our quirks shine through in every phase of ourselves, in every chapter of our lives, really honing in on what makes us feel alive and what brings, a smile to our face and what we find joy in, and really letting the quirkiness and the wacky, wonderful parts of ourselves really shine through when we are, in these new seasons of life. So, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on self expression. And I think a really big part of being able to articulate ourselves and portray ourselves to the world is needing to find safety. And I think the reason for that is because if we don't, if we don't feel safe and comfortable in our own skin, then there's no way that we're able to trust ourselves and follow our intuition and know what's right for ourselves, right? And there's no way to actually know who we are and the things that we like, and how we going to share our perspectives on our values of the things that we like if we don't even know ourselves enough to understand those things on a deeper level. And if we don't feel safe to be ourselves, then we can't really believe wholeheartedly in our choices. And so if we're not sharing that part of ourselves, which is the truest version of who we are, then really we're sharing this masked version, which comes back to, sharing ourselves and expressing who we are from an unconscious point of view. And I really truly believe that if we're not sharing our authentic self, if we're not expressing who we are truly and deeply, then we're not receiving things that we need in our life to accomplish the things that we need to meet the people who we're destined to meet. So I think that to find safety, to be able to confidently express ourselves, which is expressing, our silliness and our playfulness and things like that. When we're able to do that, we're really, we're sharing that pure, deepest, darkest parts of ourselves, and we're inviting even more playfulness and craziness and wholehearted, loving abundance into our life. So the big question is, how do we find that safety? How do we move from this mindset of, being scared to express who we are, being scared to, skip about in public or be weird and say weird things? How do we move from that fear into being safe and comfortable in our own skin so that we can share our authentic self? And I think it comes down to experiencing pivotal moments that allow us to delayer sort of false beliefs about ourselves. And I think we really have to go through big events that give us the ability to recognize our own limiting beliefs so that we can change them, and so that we can rebuild ourselves with a more aligned set of values, and gain more confidence in who we are. I think some really big pivotal moments are things like breakups or solo travel or, moving cities or moving countries, doing things we haven't done before, as always. And I'm sure, like, any of you post breakup, that's such a pivotal moment because it really allows us to reflect on the person that we were during that relationship, everything that we went through, the ways that we behaved, the ways that we acted to our partner, and the ways that we allowed ourselves to be treated by another person, right? When we go through a breakup, we're reliving everything that's happened to us and creating sort of this list of things that we liked about the relationship and the things that we didn't. And to be able to come up with those lists, we have to really start to analyze our own beliefs and the things that we value in our lives, the things that we hold close to us, the person that we want to become. And we have to analyze that sort of chapter that we lived and what we want to take from that moving forward. And I think that is why, post breakup is such a whirlwind of a time, because we are starting to understand our experience of that relationship and the limiting beliefs that we were sort of living out in that relationship, and start to sort of be conscious of them and come out of it with new beliefs and values and create these new behaviors that allow us to step into our fullest version of ourselves. Say, for instance, like in this previous relationship that you had, you observed that you were quite controlling of your partner and what they did and how they chose to live their life. And now, out of that relationship, you're more aware of how that sort of repressed the flourishing of that relationship, and it really hindered your personal growth and your growth as a couple, right? You're starting to become more conscious and aware of the ways that you behaved, and you're starting to think like, hey, that's actually not how I want to be. That's not the type of person that I want to be. I don't want to control anyone. I want to be a safe space for people to express themselves and share their most authentic and real parts with me. And me trying to control their behavior and how they want to live their lives is really suppressing to them. And that in its own way could have affected the relationship. Moving forward, I want to change my values so that I can be more loving and accepting of every person that comes into my life and every relationship that I have. And when you're able to observe those things, right, you gain clarity within yourself, right? You trust these beliefs that you have, and you gain confidence in your own judgment, and you acknowledge the parts of yourself that you didn't like about yourself, and move towards decisions and behaviors that you do like and that you do love about yourself. And it's the same with sort of solo traveling, right? When you're by yourself, you are left alone to your own devices, right? You're left alone to your thoughts, and is a lot of emotional and mental processing going on when you're pushed out of your comfort zone into the void of uncertainty. And it's in that space where you're able to analyze the parts of yourself that aren't you, that are operating from a place of um, fear and discomfort, and you're able to change the narrative to find sort of confidence in a new way of being. You start to understand that you're worthy of taking up space, that you can trust your judgment, you can trust who you are, and you have this intense confidence in your abilities and who you are. And that, I think, is where you find safety, right? I think safety is all about believing in ourselves and trusting who we are. It really comes down to, recreating who we are. It's about like really truly fucking loving our lives, not holding ourselves back, not fearing judgment from other people, because we've created ourselves. We've created new beliefs and new values that that propel us forward and that allow us to become who we want to become. And that's really liberating. And that is what allows us to be our quirky, crazy, silly, wholehearted self, right? It's this immense self-belief and confidence. And like, no one can take that away from you once you realize that you are the creator of your own self and your own life. You have put in all the hard work to change your beliefs and the values and the systems that aren't working for you, and you have replaced them with something new and something that's aligned and something that feels amazing. Like, that gives you the confidence to go out and be silly, to dance in public, to lay in the grass in the park when the sun is shining, right? It gives you the confidence to cry when you're happy and to laugh at stupid things and not be scared of holding back. It gives you the confidence and the power to pursue unconventional hobbies, things that not everyone is doing, because you know that you literally have the power to become anything that you want to be. And all it takes is you being conscious of the ways that you express yourself. When we choose how we want to show up, we have that safety, we have that confidence in ourselves. We're unlearning all these behaviors and we're recreating new ones. Like, nothing can stop us. We have the enthusiasm to sing and skip and be bold and click our fingers in public and just act like a child, because we don't fear what other people think of ourselves, because it doesn't matter. We've learned that it doesn't matter anymore. And I think that being fun and being silly and goofy and playful and not holding ourselves back, having fun by ourselves, that is true self-expression, when we don't have to be in a group to feel safe to express ourselves, when we actually trust who we are and believe in the things that we've accomplished internally, and sort of the road that we've mapped out to get there. That is the safety, and no one can take that away from you once you've sort of created that for yourself. It's liberating, and that, I think, that is self-expression. As humans, we're here to just really relish in the beauty of the world. We're here to look at trees swaying in the breeze and flowers and butterflies and all of these things, and just observe the way that the ocean waves crash. Like, that is our human experience, and we have a right to enjoy those things and not feel ashamed of enjoying those things. Like, for a long time, I was so afraid of like laying in the grass in the sun, because I was scared that people were going to think I was a weirdo. But when you do it, when you actually get outside of your comfort zone, when you feel safe enough in your own skin to just do the fucking things that you want to do, you've genuinely found like this haven within yourself to be who you are, right? For so many years, I was afraid to like dance and sing in front of people because I didn't think that's what adults did. We're not taught to be playful. We're sort of like, we take things a little bit too seriously when we grow up, and the people that we see doing their big adulting things, when we're kids, like, no one is really skipping and singing and clicking their fingers and having fun. And so we feel like we're not allowed to do that. And if our souls are calling for us to do that, to be childlike, which a lot of us feel like we do have that desire, and if we don't challenge our limiting beliefs that tell us that we can't do it, then we're not expressing ourselves. We're not sharing our true self. We're not, inviting all this fun into our life because we're scared. But it really is liberating when we can just say fuck it to the expectations of how we're supposed to act and behave, and just do what we want to do after we have, built these new values and really trust ourselves. It's liberating when we just do what we want to do. When we lay in the grass, when we cry at the sun shining through tree leaves, on a drive out in the countryside. when we dance in public, who cares if people think that we're being weird? If we want to go and be goofy and play when there's other people around, then so be it. Go do it. You have that right. That is the way that you want to show up for yourself. That is the way that you're expressing yourself. That's your form of self-expression. So go and do it. Right? The only person holding you back is yourself and all of these limiting beliefs that you've adopted that aren't even yours to begin with. Right? Like, it's such a beautiful moment when we start to truly act in accordance with ourselves, when we do what we want to do in the moment, no matter how silly or wacky we think it is. And when we can do that without the fear of another person judging us, like, that is liberation, that is freedom, that is self-expression in its purest form. Right? And there is so much beauty in that. And that, like, for me personally, living in that way has changed my life, and it's given me immense self-confidence, and it's heightened my self-esteem, and I have this profound belief in my ability to achieve anything. And I think once you find that within yourself, all you want to do is help other people reach that as well. And the first thing, like, that you have to do is just find safety. Love who you are, understand who you are at your core, and believe that you're worthy of taking up space. Believe that you are entitled to acting in accordance with your values. You are entitled to express your likes and your dislikes and share those things in the moment. You are allowed to change those thoughts and perspectives as you grow and evolve. And you're allowed to change the ways that you express who you are. Whether that is you love to dance or you love to just be silly and goofy, and then you start to evolve and change into somebody who is more mellow and calm, but you're still putting yourself out there, and you're allowing yourself to take up space in a room full of people. You're allowing yourself the freedom to be who you are in this world, because that is what you were born here to do. And yeah, it really is beautiful when you just let yourself be free, when you let yourself act like a kid and be childlike and have fun and invite people to have fun with you. Like, that is self-expression. That's who we are. That's what we are here to do. And when we are conscious of the limiting beliefs and the things that stop us from showing up as our true selves, like, that's the first step of really getting there, to that place of, like, enlightenment and joy and craziness. And I just want everybody to be able to just believe in themselves and love themselves so much that they can just be quirky and weird and say silly fun things and dance and sing weirdly in front of people. Like, we're just humans. We're just here to have a fun, merry little time and do the things that bring us joy and love deeply, and share that with other people, and just be accepted fully and wholeheartedly for who we are. And it all just comes from within us first. It comes from a place of safety, of finding that peace and calm and belief in ourselves. Now, I said at the start that this was part one of a two-part episode about self-expression, and I'm going to leave it here, hopefully giving you all just this great bursting sense of empowerment that you have just to be yourself and share your truth and vulnerability with everybody. I'm going to make part two of this because I have had some thoughts and little epiphanies and musings lately about sort of the other side of self-expression. So if you want to listen to that, that'll be coming out next week. So hopefully after listening to this, you guys have come out of it with sort of like a deeper appreciation and desire to really love yourself and share that love that you have for yourself with your friends and with your family and with strangers, and just express who you are without fear. Really trust yourself, have confidence in yourself, believe in who you are, and just go and be silly and quirky and wacky and weird and fun and energetic and just all the things. Like, just go and be all of the things and love yourself fiercely. And yes, that is all. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. Share it around, please. It would mean the world to me. Thanks to everybody who listens. Love you all. But yeah, that is all from me today. The world is waiting for you as always. So get on out there and enjoy your big, beautiful life. Bye.